Good morning, it's Chad Seay from Seay Real Estate here in Richmond, Virginia. Today I'd like to talk to you about co-signing. Co-signing for loans, specifically mortgage loans. And over the years I've seen people ask for co-signers. I've seen people step up to be co-signers. There are pros and cons. It's a very personal decision as to whether or not you'll ask someone to co-sign for you or whether or not you will agree to co-sign for someone else. And the way I've seen it work out over the years is that sometimes we'll have a buyer who, because they have had a recent blemish on their credit report, their credit score has not come back up to the level that would qualify them for financing. Sometimes a person, maybe they haven't been on their job long enough, or they're self-employed and they don't have 2 years worth of tax returns to be able to show that they can afford the house, but they're confident they can. And sometimes people like that will turn to a friend or a family member and ask them to co-sign for the loan for them. So the person who's doing the co-signing, what they have to understand is that loan will now show up on their credit report. They have to be very confident that the person they're co-signing for is going to make the payments. Sometime in a situation like that, if a person isn't making the payments, the one who co-signed might not even know about it until that day a year later when they go to apply for credit and find out that their credit score is in the tank because the person they co-signed for has not been making the payments. So if you're going to co-sign for someone else, you really have to be confident that they are going to do what they say and make the loan payments. Otherwise, you just have to understand that it could hurt your credit, and you may be perfectly fine with that. It's really going to depend on the person and the relationship you have with them. If you are a buyer wanting to get someone to co-sign for you, I would say just be very, very sure that you're capable of making the payments. Banks, when they don't qualify someone for financing, first of all, they want to make loans. And if there's evidence that you can make the payments, they are very happy to loan the money. If they're not willing to do it, they're seeing a risk of some sort. And some buyers, I think, would be wise to understand that if the bank thinks I'm a little bit of a risk, perhaps I need to work on myself and my situation to the point where they're confident. And then you can go get the loan on your own. You don't have to ask someone to co-sign. And that's a good way to go about it, a confident way to go about it, a responsible way to go about it. But there's so many different types of situations, and there are certainly times when asking someone to co-sign for you can be appropriate. So it's, like I said at the outset, it's a very personal decision, and one that you can make a case for either way. Depends so much on the relationship and the other circumstances that surround it. But that's how co-signing works. It's something to not take lightly, but to consider carefully before you agree to co-sign for someone, and I'd say before you ask someone to co-sign for you. But that's a little bit on co-signing today. I hope you have a great week.